The history of the origin of the South Indian Chola dynasty is known mainly from the early Tamil literature of Sangam period beginning in the 1st-2nd century CE. The state founded by this dynasty was in constant confrontation with the neighboring powers of Pallava and Pandya, and struggle for domination in the region continued with varying success. At the end of the 9th century, Chola owned a small principality with their capital in Udaipur. Nowadays it calls Tiruchirappalli. For unknown reason they became stronger, and in 898 CE they brought to an end the neighboring Pallava kingdom, completely destroying the state. At the same time, in the very south of Indian subcontinent, the Pandyan kingdom was on the rise, but in 910 CE the outnumbered Tamil invaders defeated the Pandyans also too, and Chola unified under their rules almost all of Tamil Nadu territories. The fall of the vast Rashtrakuta Empire, captured by Tailapa I, the ruler of the western Chalukyas, in 973 CE, contributed to the success of Chola also too. As a result of that fall, the pressure from the west on the boundaries of Chola state was weakened. Under the rule of Rajaraja I and his son Rajendra I, Chola subjugated not only Tamil Nadu but part of Karnataka. They made the eastern Chalukyas of Pangi in Anahra vassal, as well as inflicted several defeats of Chalukyas of Kalyani, and marched north, reaching the Ganges River. In addition to the land army, the Chola state created a powerful navy, with the help of which they conquered Sri Lanka, the Maldive Islands, and brought under the control the kingdom of Srivijaya, which occupied the islands of Sumatra and Java, as well as the Malay Peninsula. During the reign of Rajaraja I and Rajendra I, the Chola state virtually achieved imperial status. Its borders extended from the northern region of Sri Lanka in the south to the basin of Godavari and Krishna rivers in the north, from Konkan and Malabar coast in the west to the Laccadive and Maldivian islands in the southwest. Rajaraja Chola I was an energetic ruler who applied himself to the task of governments with the same zeal that he had shown in waging wars. He consolidated his empire into the tight administrative network under the royal control and strengthened local administrations. In the year 1000, Rajaraja conducted a land census to efficiently distribute the resources of his empire, which 3 years later enabled him to begin construction of the great Hindu temple complexes, known today as the Great Living Chola Temples. Precisely during the heyday in the highest degree of expansion of Tamil Empire, the temple architecture of the Indian South acquired monumental proportions, as well as the features of increased splendor, pomposity, and abundance of figurative decor. In artistic sense, the Chola images of gods, which were huge compared to the Pallava and Chalukya periods, were inferior to the early sculptural images. At the same time, thanks to the flourishing of crafts and developed metallurgy in the empire, remarkable works of plastic art were created, the so-called Chola bronze. In terms of architectural innovation, the Chola temple complexes represent the development of Pallava period ideas, which acquires a larger scale and scope. Spacious courtyards surrounded by a monumental fence are added to the temples. Special pavilions appear, dedicated to individual local cults of the deities of Hindu pantheon, which is associated with the development of numerous sects and trends of the Shaivism. Massive entrance gates with tiers tapering towards to the top, decorated with figures of guardian deities, so-called Dwarapala, and covered with a barrel-shaped vault, so-called Gopuram, acquire a finished form which were preserved long after the disappearance of Chola Empire. Brihadeshvara Temple, also known as Peru-vudaiyar Kovil, one of the largest shaivite temples of the Dravidian south, was built by behest of Rajaraja I in very short time by medieval standards. Its construction took about 7 years. The total area of Brihadeshvara temple complex is about 2.3 square kilometers and includes a monumental central sanctuary with a massive Vimana tower, richly decorated with sculptures of deities and supernatural beings, a number of smaller sanctuaries dedicated to deities associated with the main cult of Shiva, a vast courtyard, a water tank, and pavilion containing a huge statue of the sacred bull Nandi. In the inner chamber of the central sanctuary called Garbhagriha is a massive Shiva lingam made of solid granite. The temple dedicated to Rajaraja I, one of the forms of Shiva, is believed was built in honor of the military conquest of Raja I and intended to demonstrate to the subjects of the newly created empire the connection between the great achievements of the ruling Chola dynasty and the divine order established by Shiva Nataraja. At the same time, the victories over the competing political powers were allegorically identified with the victory of Shiva Nataraja over the demon Apsamara, the personification of chaos trampled by the supreme deity in his dance, and establishment of harmony throughout the universe, in the endlessly repeating cycle of creation, preservation, destruction. The reign of Emperor Rajaraja II from 1150 to 1173 CE was a period of relative stability and was marked by only a few tensions in the relations of Chola Empire with its neighbors. The empire retained all the territories captured by his predecessors, and Chola military fleets remained dominant in both the western and eastern seas. The economic prosperity of the flourishing empire allowed Rajaraja II to make numerous donations to the temple in Tanjavur, Chindambaram, Kanchi, Srirangam, Tiruchi, as well as temples in Madurai. At the same time, the emperor widely launched urban and temple construction and moved his capital from Gangankoidachalapuram to Darasuram. The new temple complex built in Darasuram was named Rajaraja in honor of the emperor, but later was renamed to Airavatesvara. This temple became the last such structure built in Chola Empire before its weakening and collapse. The new name appeared as a result of the legend about the miraculous healing of the Indra's divine elephant Airavata, which skin returned to original white color after his ablution in the Kaveri river, from which the main pool of the complex was supplied with water. Airavatesvara temple is dedicated to Shiva, but at the same time it's a place of worship for followers of Vaishnavism and Shaktism. Numerous bas-reliefs of the temple depict devotees of the Bhakti movement formed within Shaivism, as well as the Vedic and Puranic deities. A separate temple dedicated to Shiva's wife Parvati located a little to the north of Airavatesvara. It calls Peru-vudaiyar Temple. Despite the fact that Airavatesvara is smaller in size than both Brihadeshvara and Gangai-konda Cholapuram, the artistic level of performance and elaboration of the details of decor of this temple is even higher. The bas-relief sculptures and the frescoes of Airavatesvara mainly illustrate the fragments from the Ramayana, dedicated to the divine couple Shiva Parvati, and also depicting the lives of the 63 Nayanars, Shivaist holy men that borrowed from the epic Periya Puranam. A distinctive feature of Dravidian architecture, which was also embodied in Airavatesvara, was a system of several mandapas, specific structures with columns between the entrance staircase and the passage leading to the main sanctuary of the temple, so-called Garbhagriha. In Airavatesvara, the passage to the Garbhagriha leads through the Rajagamphiran Tirumandapam, named in honor of Rajaraja I, which is often called Agramandapam. The Agramandapa has 8 outer columns supported by the squatting mythical creatures called yalis, with the head and body of a lion and the trunk and a tusk of an elephant. The entrance staircase adjacent to the mandapa are distinguished by the sculptures of elephants located on the outer side of the balustrade. The mandapa itself is designed in the form of the Shiva's chariot Tipuranataka, as shown by the carved figures of horses and relief images of wheels with hubs and spokes on the sides of the staircases. The base of the Agramandapa is decorated with bas-reliefs reproducing the plots of the myth describing the deeds of Shiva. For example, Shiva on the chariot destroying Tripura, the 3 heavenly city fortress erected by the architect of Devas, Mayasura of Asuras, or Virabhadra, one of the Shiva's son killing Daksha, or Shiva in the form of the Lord of the Time Kalantaka fighting with the deity of death Yama, and like that. The miniature friezes of the Agramandapa are decorated with the inscriptions praising the supernatural events that happened to the Tamil saints Nayanars, who worshipped Shiva. The main sanctuary of the temple is separated from the Agramandapa by an internal passage with 48 columns. These columns are adorned with ornamental patterns of intertwining lianas. Also, all the columns have round medallions depicting dancers and musicians, which corresponds to the main motif of the temple interior decoration, Nitya Vinoda, that means eternal entertainment. In front of the main shrine Garbhagriha, the small statue of the sacred bull Nandi. On the either side of the doorway are statues of the Dwarapalas, mythological guardian spirits armed with huge clubs. Their hair is decorated with fangs and smaller trishula, and both pairs of the hands are folded in the threatening Tarjani mudra. The very center of the shrine is occupied by the Shiva Lingam, the main object of the worship.